And coming back here with that experience, I feel like I know better now how I can, instead of resisting my community and where I'm from and running from it, I can be a big part of it and a part of the community and have a positive impact on the people around me and maybe make some kind of changes here.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the Americus podcast, where we pursue what it means to become a next level neighbor, creating a place we enjoy with the people we love. I'm your host, John Schroeder, and today I am joined by Cassie Martin. Cassie is a Sumter County native who grew up here in Americus and has spent much of her life working with animals in our community. Cassie currently works as a veterinary assistant, has been involved with Sumter Humane Society, local rescue work, and outreach program helping care for animals across our area. She's also an artist, a mom, and someone who has lived in places like Athens and New Orleans before eventually returning home to Americus. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me, John.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What keeps you busy these days?
What doesn't keep me busy these days? Well, my job, my kids, and on top of that, I'm on the board of our local Humane Society and also on the board of a local outreach program that I started with my friend Bridget Durfee back in October of last year called Project Outreach. We've pretty much gotten that off the ground, and it's constant. Yeah. It's a constant thing. And those are the most things that keep me busy. I try to do my art when I can. I'm actually got a space in Made in Americus downtown where I have some of my art out. I need to put more out. I've been slowly creating more things when I have time, but those are just a few of the things that keep me busy these days. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm sure pets, kids, all that stuff. We'll be talking about that in just a little bit as well. But you grew up here in Americus, right?
I did.
Okay. So what was childhood like for you?
Well, I actually grew up in Plains. I went to school in Americus, graduated high school in Americus, went to college in Americus. All my friends are from Sumter County here, but growing up in Plains, it was a good life. I had a great childhood. I'm not going to lie. My grandpa was a farmer, and I grew up around all kinds of animals, not just dogs and cats. We had goats, we had cows, we had hogs, we had chickens, we had guinea hens, and it was a really great life that we had. We have land out on Magnolia Springs Road in Plains, Georgia, which actually used to be the center of town back in the day. There's a natural spring there.
No
and
way.
An old concrete pool with the old gazebo that the spring is still running today.
Okay. That was on your property?
Yes. It's on my family's property.
That's awesome.
It was my grandparents' house, my aunt's houses. We all lived right walking distance from each other growing up. So
that's awesome.
That was really fun.
Now, of course, I would assume that if you say Plains, if people know anything about that, they'll probably ask about President Jimmy Carter and all that kind of stuff. Was that a part of your life having to grow up too? Thinking through that? Or?
Growing up, maybe not so much, but later in life, my mom actually did work with Jimmy Carter for several years, over a decade, up until his death recently. She did more than just her job there. She, helped with getting hospice care and just the mundane stuff, appointments, making sure he was taken care of, and on top of her financial duties and stuff as well. But I did get more acquainted with Jimmy Carter and that circle of people as I got older.
Yeah. Yeah. So I noticed on your form you have several animals now, right?
Oh, yes.
Dog, cats, guinea pig, ferret, right? And a parakeet? All right.
I have a parakeet, yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what brought so much love for animals into your life?
Well, and I will say my dad had a lot to do with that, I think. Because looking back, a lot of people hunt, and I'm not against hunting at all, but I was never for it. I could never kill anything. I can barely squish a bug if I have to. And my dad, even though most of the men around him, especially in a farming community, a country, area, rural area, there was a lot of people that hunt for sport or dove shooting, stuff like that, deer hunting. But he never really got into that. He went a couple times, but I don't think he was really about it. The memories I have more of are like livestock maybe that we had that were injured, and he would bring them home and make a splint for a broken leg or something. And he always was trying to heal the animals that were hurt. And that was something that core memories, you know what I mean? And it spoke to me. And I always liked to just sit outside by myself. We had a lot of lizards, frogs, whatever, and I would play with them and name them, and so whatever it was, turtles, living out in the country, I was always trying to bring stuff home.
Yeah,
we raised.
Were you out in overalls and stuff? And were you doing all of it, or
if I had any clothes on? Right.
Yeah,
but I think my dad went hunting one time and he brought back one dove that wasn't dead, and I kind of snuck it away, and he didn't hunt again after that because he felt so bad. But he has a lot to do with how I feel about animals, because his feeling on it is that God put us in charge of these creatures. Yeah, it's man's obligation to take care of them and make sure they don't suffer.
Yeah. And that was kind of instilled in you, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, growing up in Plains in a small town, people that grow up in small towns feel like they have to leave to see the world. Was that something that you felt too when you were a little bit younger?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I spent the entirety of my 20s trying to leave.
Okay. Yeah.
And I ended up back. And honestly, I think what I was searching for most in hindsight was perspective. I needed more of a worldview so that I could understand and empathize with people better, because I felt like my bubble was just too small and there was more for me to know. And I've learned a lot. And coming back here from living in other places, and I mean, it's a whole different life I lived these other places than what I'm living here now.
What did you enjoy about living in some of those spaces, those places?
The people mostly, especially New Orleans. Was
that the second place? So Athens was first, then New Orleans?
New Orleans was actually first, and then Athens, and then New Orleans again. Okay. But I definitely met my chosen family there, some great people. And I just remember the first time walking down the street there, and every single person I passed by made eye contact with me, said hello. We had an exchange, and learning the slang was fun because they say things like, you heard me. And some man was talking to me one day and he kept saying, you heard me? And I'm like, yes, I hear him. Why does he keep saying that? But I picked up the baby, calling everybody baby, and everybody's just super personable and real there. So I needed that at the time, and definitely found some great people along the way that actually made me appreciate my family more, by helping me see like how important it is to have community and family in your life. Yeah. And coming back here with that experience, I feel like I know better now how I can, instead of resisting my community and where I'm from and running from it, I can be a big part of it and a part of the community and have a positive impact on the people around me and maybe make some kind of changes here. Yeah, yeah. What was it with maybe family, just friends, when you thought about like, I'd like to get out of here. I'd like to kind of just see some more of the world. Did they feel the same way, or were they like, hey, stay with us? Or what was that kind of like, just kind of growing up? Well, like I said, we were really tight knit in Plains growing up. I mostly played with my cousins. We didn't go off except for our like yearly vacations or baseball games, stuff like that. But when I went to college, I broadened my circle and met my people, if you will, because a lot of times, you're in high school and you're friends with some people, but you don't necessarily have the same connections that you build with people like when you go to college and you're interested in the same things and they're from different places and you're learning things you didn't even think about before, and my family is definitely. What was your major at the college? My major started out, I wanted to be pre-vet, and it started out as biology. And then I took a voice and articulation class with Jeff Green at GSW. And he asked me why I took that class. And I told him because I really enjoyed speech classes in high school and I always wanted to do theater. I just played sports instead. And after my first couple acting classes, I was sold, and that's all I wanted to do. So back then, my idea was become a working actor and then find a way to use that success to help animals. So it's always been on my mind that I wanted to use any kind of success I would maybe have to build some kind of rescue or start some kind of initiative in my community. So But
so when you're going to college and you're saying, I want to be an actress, I want to be an actor, let's do this thing. Family was like,
no.
Yeah. So to say, like, where are, yeah, sure. That's your backup plan. What are you going to do?
Right. Yeah. And you know what? Hindsight, I mean, that would have been smart.
Yeah.
That would have been smart to have it as like my backup plan. But honestly, it's still my backup plan.
Yeah.
I always joke and tell people when I'm 82, I'm getting an Oscar. You're going to see. I'm going to be that old lady in all those movies.
There you go. That's right. The Titanic, right?
Right. Exactly. Hey, they need those people.
That's right. So did you go to New Orleans for that? Is that what brought you
Yes,
there? Like, so what was the initial, like, oh, I'm moving to New Orleans because of?
Actually, I was in a serious relationship with someone and they graduated a year before me from college and they were like, I'm not waiting. I'm going to New Orleans. And I was like, well, you're not leaving me here.
Yeah.
So we went. And honestly, I wasn't there even a year before I came back. It was just real tough for me. I never lived away from home. Like I had traveled. While I was in college, I made sure to like do a little study abroad. And my first study abroad was in El Salvador with the Fuller Center for Housing.
Okay, yeah.
That was, talk about perspective. Life-altering experience for me. So all the little things.
What were some things that, when you say life-altering? Just
running water, being able to flush toilet paper, proper housing, anything, like just seeing it firsthand and knowing how lucky I am and how much people just need people out there. It was tremendous. And when I came back, I started an organization for the Fuller Center at GSW, and we built houses every Saturday. We worked at houses locally in town that they were working on. I would have organizations on the campus that had to do community service hours go through me and do those awesome. For a while there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. So, all right. So you go to New Orleans, you stay there for a year, get some of the lingo, get some perspective, right? Big city. Then you come back. What do you do when you come back? Are you ready to go as soon as you get back?
I don't think that I was ready to come home. It was just a little overwhelming for me at the time. I was going through some things emotionally. So it just seemed to make more sense for me to come home for a while because I was stressing. I mean, it's expensive to live in New Orleans and I was working a lot and I wasn't going to school like I wanted to at the time. So I came back and that's when I went back to the vet's office that I worked for too. So they've been so sweet. They always take me back.
Like, welcome home.
Right.
So did you ever imagine maybe staying in those places more permanently or
I
would
did.
you have?
I did. I actually lost my best friend just out of the blue in 2022. And ever since then, she was kind of the glue that held the whole chosen family together, And after that, I don't think I could see myself living there anymore. And honestly, that, in a way helped me become closer with my family again here, try to set down roots and accept that this is where I need to be right now.
Yeah.
This is where I can make the most difference.
Yeah. I mean, it really comes back to the whole, what makes a place is the people that right? The community that you have. And sometimes you can be in the most beautiful places. And if you just don't have the people, you don't have the community.
Home is where the heart is.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, well, you enjoy, you mentioned in the form that you filled out, this idea of liking the obscurity of kind of people not knowing who you are all the time in the big cities, but eventually coming back and realizing how valuable it is to actually know people in the community. What changed for you from that? I would like to be hidden more to, this is actually a really, really amazing thing.
I think in my mind, people that had known me my whole life, I felt didn't really know me because I hadn't really learned who I was completely. And I knew I was changed. I had ideas that were changing, evolving beliefs and things like that. And I guess I always felt like they would always just think I was that same person. But then going somewhere new, I'm me. Yeah. And that's it. I don't have to think about that thing that I did in high school like 10 years ago that somebody probably remembers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I had some of the best interactions I've ever had, most memorable, with just total strangers. And New Orleans was like that. Yeah, you could just have the most meaningful conversation with someone randomly on the street. And that was really cool to me. And I used to write down all my interactions with people, make stories out of it. When I bartended for about 13 years total, and I still have bar napkins where I wrote down like all these ideas because I was trying to make short films and stuff at the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, all this is content, right?
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this
exactly.
is great.
I have like a whole folder like, this is character content right here.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you meet some characters for sure. But coming back, it's just, I've realized how much you need a village, especially after having children. And then, you're a different part of your life. And people that I knew years ago, now they're having children, they're married, they have jobs, and we're at a different stage in our life. And I think we've all, whether we've left or not, have gained some sort of perspective that has helped us mature and appreciate and value a lot of the things we have that maybe we didn't as young people.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's easier to get a doctor to see you if your mom knows the doctor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Well, when you step back and you look at Americus, you begin to appreciate some things that you didn't see when you were younger. Is there anything that comes to mind that as now you're looking back at kind of your younger self that you now appreciate more about small towns like Americus or Plains? Or
yes, and I'll include in that just how much I've realized how much this county really as a whole has progressed. Because when I did leave initially the first time, I was kind of at war with myself about how I felt about my community, because I was actually dealing with some prejudice there. And it was, I guess now it's been about 20 years ago since that happened. And you don't realize that much time has passed. But I just felt like I blanketed everyone. Everyone was that way. I felt like everybody looked at it that way, and nobody was going to change. And, we have a pretty dark history here when it comes to race relations and things like that. And I was just super sensitive to it. I turned away from God for a while. I didn't trust going to church because I didn't believe people believed what they were preaching. And,
for sure,
I was resistant to it. But coming back, it took some tempering, but I've had to look around and realize all these wonderful people and the things they're doing in our community, and how much more integrated our community is since 15 years ago even.
Yeah. Well, that's what's been encouraging to me coming in. I've only been here for 3.5 years, and I get to kind of come in and see some of this progression and go, wow, this is so great. But it's the people that have been here for 20, 30, 40 years. They're exhausted from all of the effort. And I get to see the benefit of it. And I'm just like, thank you so much, that we get to kind of stand on your shoulders at this point and continue in some of these things, which has been really encouraging.
Absolutely.
So just coming from an outsider coming in, I see the work, I see the prayers, I see the frustrations and the difficulties. And there's still many, many opportunities for us to continue to engage. And so, I mean, I think that's, going back to some of the real challenges that we have in Americus, there's reasons why people are still leaving, and there are fewer opportunities in smaller cities. We know that. And things can make it hard. People can make it hard to build something new here. Trying to build a business or an organization, and all of the red tape and having to go through that. When you come back, Are there certain challenges that you notice more clearly now?
Yes, maybe those challenges have always been there. And I just notice them more now because I'm an adult and I kind of know how the world works a little bit better now. But yeah, I see some hindrances still. Like you said, a lot of red tape, a lot of people set in their ways, not wanting things to change, even though things need to change. And that's the only way to get our city to grow is change, you know?
Yeah. It's a difficult word, change, you know, because what does that mean?
Yes.
You know, and as I get older, you know, I look at the older generation now, and part of the tension that I feel that they have, as I've talked and shared, is, I mean, they're at a stage of their lives right now where everything is grief because they're losing everything. They're losing family. They're losing friends. They're losing what things used to be. And so another thing that they have to change is just so hard.
Right.
And yet at the same time, that's changing things or growing things.
Right.
And so it's a very difficult balance. And at the same time, some people they just want it their way. They don't care who it affects or anything like that. And so these are some of the challenges that big cities have. Small cities definitely can see more visible. I think it's harder to hide behind another business, you know,
just like 1 degree of separation.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what's so great about being in a small town. Is like, oh, I know you. I see you. You're my neighbor over there. Well, you know, did any of those realities coming back make you question about staying, or does it make you want to invest more?
At first, I was definitely back and forth about staying. But I'm at a place now where I've gotten comfortable. I've decided to be here. My family needs me. My community needs me. I want to contribute to something good here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I've come to peace with it. Like not just like, oh well, I've just decided it's okay. Like I'm really at peace with it, and I'm at a place where I'm committed to moving forward.
Yeah. Is there anything that changed in you to make you think that way?
Yes. Working with the Humane Society, Deep South Canine, I worked with them for a little while, and meeting my friend Bridget Durfee. She's actually from Michigan, moved down here with her husband a couple years ago. And her energy is just, she goes all the time. I don't know how she does it. And she's just all day with these animals figuring it out. And she's really inspired me I spent 3 years while I was back here on my own trying to spay and neuter stray cats and find them homes. And I started at one place on Jackson Street over here. And I think I went through somewhere around like 30 cats. So while I was seeing the fruits of my labor at the same time, a lot of it was coming out of my pocket. A lot of people weren't compliant with what I told, I had a couple people not bring their cats back to get fixed, and I never, never heard from them again. Like, those are some of the things you deal with. So I wanted to be more professional about it. I wanted to start my own rescue, but I just couldn't do it alone, not where I was or where I am. And meeting her has been such a blessing, and she made me feel like, we can do it. Yeah. Nobody's going to help. Well, we'll help ourselves, So having someone like that come around really just solidified it for me.
Now, how long has she been living in Americus? Or
I think about 3 years now.
Okay. All
she
right.
actually lives in Ellaville.
Did she come down with you or
No. We actually just common interests on Facebook. I knew she worked at the Humane Society. Mm-hmm. We talked back and forth on Facebook a lot. And then I ended up working at the Humane Society for a while. And she actually worked for Deep South before the Humane Society. And I actually worked for Deep South before the Humane Society. And now we actually both work at Americus Veterinary Hospital too.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you guys are just some partners in crime, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Taking care of business. That's awesome. Well, it's, like you said, I mean, it's so good to have support and people to help you build. And like I said, coming here to Americus, for me, it's not like I want to see Americus be different. I love what Americus is. I just want to help it become excellent,
right?
And keep that standard, hold that accountability.
Edges,
yeah. And so we've been, even as a podcast, talking with city officials and things like that, downtown management. Hey, what's going on? How can people stay informed? What's really kind of going on behind the scenes so we can come alongside, because everybody here wants to win. And you're the kind of person that a next level neighbor is someone, one of the ways you can describe it is someone who just doesn't take no for an answer. You're just going to keep going. And like this person that's come with you, hey, if no one's going to help us, we'll figure it out. Like we want to see something great here. Well, you know, a lot of towns, people in small towns, they feel like they need to leave to build a meaningful life.
Yeah.
And you've lived in bigger cities, Athens, New Orleans. Well, obviously, there's more opportunities and things that are going on. But then you come back here. What is it about Americus that makes you feel that it's worth building a life here?
The history, really. When you really look at it, the kind of changes that have been made here that have been recognized, not just nationwide, but worldwide. I mean, people think, oh, it's just America, it's just a small town. But like, look at what we've done, and what we've overcome, and how far we've come. And I mean, you know, Jimmy Carter's from Plains, Georgia. That's a pretty big deal, you know. Yeah. But not just that. Habitat for Humanity, you know, this Clarence Jordan's story with Millard Fuller is just so inspirational. And people don't like to talk about our dark past, but I think it's important to talk about those things and to teach your kids those things so that they understand just how monumental the change has been here for our community and continues to be, because at the center, Americus, Sumter County, are good people that want the same things, and we want a good life, and we just want better things for everyone around us. I feel like in my heart, as a whole, generally speaking. When I was coming up, I honestly didn't know about Habitat. I didn't know about any of that stuff. Any of the stories, any of the Quantinia stories, any of that stuff. And I went to college is when I found out about that. And I met Millard Fuller, and I started working for the Florida Center for Housing. I went to El Salvador. I wanted to see it firsthand. I wanted to understand. And it just blew my mind that people weren't always talking about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, you know, you have Habitat for Humanity. That's nationwide, but it's international. It's, you know, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, we've had a lot of great things come out of this town, and I think we're going to have a lot of more great things come out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been diving in and meeting people, and I mean, there's a lot of things about Americus that were really kind of the initial things for certain movements, which has been really encouraging. Like I heard about, like the Chamber of Commerce here was like one of the first chambers to ever be in Georgia, like to fight for businesses, which is crazy when you think about how many cities and towns, and so it seems as if there is a lot of history that we can really say, is this who we are? Because if it is, let's build on that.
Right.
So our future is really what we've always been. We're just continuing to do that.
Yes.
And so I've used the word pioneering a lot in the sense that, what if we were pioneers again? What if we started new things? We're the ones that are willing to do the hard things. You've done hard things, and we want to continue to see that in our community. And so what's the next hard thing? Because that's who we are.
Right. I mean, how do you accomplish anything without doing the next hard thing?
That's
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, you know, and before I got in with Bridget, I was getting down. Like, it's the lack of education about just basic animal welfare in the area. And a lot of small towns, a lot of rural areas, and like the lack of enforcement for animal cruelty. And it's overwhelming, and it can be really discouraging when people don't comply, or you tell them what they need to know and they just resist it. Or so, you know, you have all the success stories, and that's what everybody sees. They see, oh, this one got a home, or this one got its surgery, this one got sent to rescue. But like, you don't see all the people that won't let us help, or all the people that are just irresponsible without even realizing they're being irresponsible. It's just, it's a lot to take in. And especially working at a veterinary hospital where you have people who really take care of their pets. So they come in and they're doing all the things. And then you go and you work rescue and you see like the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
So it's hard to balance. And
so give me a general sense of our pet population and just general care for that? Just kind of bring me into your world.
Okay, well, just to put like a number, just to kind of just to show you how big this problem really is. It's a statewide number, but the recorded amount of euthanasias of dogs and cats in state shelters, and that's just state shelters, so this number isn't a true number. It's just the ones that were required to report. In Georgia for 2024 was over 33,000. And you compare that to 2020, which was over 12,000. So the problem has grown significantly, and it's not going away anytime soon because there hasn't been any real change in legislation. Georgia doesn't have, for example, a statewide like tether law about leaving your dog on a chain in your yard, tethering them. But there's a lot of different counties that do. Sumter County is not one of them.
Okay.
As far as I can find in my research, we don't have any strict like tethering laws. So when people are calling animal control about a dog that's tied up in the yard all the time, like there's really nothing they can do because we don't have a tether law about it. As long as they see a food bowl and a water bowl and something for them to get out of the rain in, we can't do anything. But if having laws like that would allow officers to give citations, tickets, fines, at least do that so that they have to change. And part of what Project Outreach does too is we help people keep their pets. We don't want people abandoning their dogs. We don't want people having to rehome their dogs. So we have people reach out to us that just, they can't do it. They don't have the funds, or they don't know what they need, or they have an unwanted litter and they have all these puppies, and what are they going to do with them? And they can't afford to get them fixed. So we've provided dog houses, straw during the cold days to people that needed it or had outside dogs, which outside dogs, is a reality, especially in the South, in the country. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, there's no such thing as an outside dog. But the reality is, like, yes, there are. There are a lot of people that keep their dogs outside. And we just want to make sure that they're taken care of at just this basic standard level, and that they're getting spayed and neutered and vaccinated so that they don't perpetuate disease, produce unwanted litters, creating more of a stray problem. Sumter Humane Society, animal control brings animals to them literally every single day.
Yeah.
And we get calls every single day. Since October, I think our intake has been around 90 animals, and most of them we've sent to rescues over state lines, like Michigan, mostly. But yeah, a lot of what we're trying to do is work with people to keep their animals so that they don't find themselves in a position to where they can't, or they have to take them to a shelter and then add to the overpopulation problem or the crowding problem that we have. And two things that we're doing to help that is free or low cost vaccine clinics. And now we have a trap and release clinic, which is you trap cats, like feral cats, you bring them in. We're going to fix up to 50 in one day, next Saturday, actually.
Okay.
Dr. Crawford will be hosting that at the Buena Vista office for Americus Veterinary Hospital next Saturday.
Basically, you just bring your cat there.
Yeah.
And it's
there
up to 50.
There is an application and a fee, but it's a small fee. And we've also partnered with Georgia Spot Program, which is out of the Atlanta area. But they help provide financially compromised families with low cost or no cost spay and neuter to help them keep their pets and prevent unwanted litters. Because, and a lot of times we do have this problem. People don't think about it, and nobody likes to think about it, but people do troll for free dogs. You got puppies you're just giving away, or you're trying to sell them. There's not a lot of good people in this world when it comes to free dogs. Like they want them a lot of times for like dog fighting, they'll catfish. There's just a lot of dark things out there that people don't think about, but it's a reality that we see in rescue. Yeah. We've had to rescue dogs from dog fighting rings before, and people need to be more careful with how they're doing that. But when you've got all these puppies or these kittens and you don't know what to do with them, you just have to give them away, and you just don't think about it anymore. Yeah. But we're trying to be someone that you can reach out to when you find yourself in that situation. Yeah. We can help you move the babies while spaying and neutering the mom, getting their vaccines up to date. And we're totally totally donation based right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
what is the kind of the general rule in Sumter County if you get an animal? I mean, because I think like, we have our dog and we have, a cat. And so the first thing that we think about is like, okay, we got them. We need to, if we're not going to breed them, if we're not going to consciously know that we're going to do that, we're just going to go ahead and spay and neuter, like the normal stuff. Is what needs to happen and what is happening?
I think really there's a lot of resources that can be utilized now that people don't realize. And a lot of people, it's just misinformation. I have so many people come in the vet and say like, well, somebody told me that my dog needs to have a heat cycle before it can be fixed. It's better for him. It's not. Get them fixed as soon as they're ready. There are some breeds, like larger breeds or the extra large breeds, where you have to wait till they're a year, maybe 2 years older, just so they're fully mature before you fix them. But a lot of people just are fed misinformation. Or a lot of people will buy a dog and be like, I don't know, I might want puppies, but they're not breeders. They don't understand what goes with that. A lot of people think they're going to have puppies and make money off of it, but you have to vet those puppies or they're going to have issues. And it's just lack of education, misinformation, lack of resources. And there are more resources now. The Humane Society offers low-cost spay and neuter vouchers for dogs and cats. Dogs is $65. Cats are $35. Anybody can go get that.
Yeah.
You just got to go out there, fill out the paper, and they make the appointment for you.
A lot less headache, too, right? And when you have to try to figure out how to take the litter and try to find, people to take care of them.
But then you have, you also have people who are like, well, I don't want to take his manhood. But, there's a bigger issue here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, you talked about a little bit about pet overpopulation. I mean, what is that like in just Sumter County in general? I mean, it's pretty bad. It's way worse than I remember growing up, and even when I was in college. I mean, the amount of stray cats alone that I see, I mean, everywhere. It's not just like this street or that street. There's colonies everywhere. And cats breed so quickly, and they breed so young. So people get cats. It's so important, but a cat can get pregnant before you even realize you should have spayed them. They can get pregnant as early as like 5 months old. Babies having babies. Yeah. And I think, I'm not going to say stray dogs as much as just dumped dogs. Most of these dogs that are out roaming the streets or out in the fields, they've been dumped by their owners or gotten off their chain. And, I was actually 8 months pregnant with my last baby. And so this was 3 years ago. And this is kind of when I was like, okay, I got to start doing this again. I was driving down Elm, and there was a pit bull mama. So you could tell she had babies. She had a chain around her neck and a cinder block attached to it, but she was dragging it. And we figured out that she had puppies, and one of them had gotten in the street because we saw that it had been hit. But we didn't know what house she came from. But it was the house right next to where we were, but the lady wouldn't come out. And it took me getting on social media with this video, reaching out to rescues around there. And this was when I moved back. I wasn't really integrated back in the community. I wasn't doing all this stuff yet. And ended up, it took days, but they came and she agreed to surrender her dog and the puppies to a pit bull rescue in Albany. And she was given a ticket and had to clean up her property and everything like that, which she complied. But those are just some incidences you come across. It's technically it's animal cruelty, but she couldn't do for her dog. She was she had some surgeries, and she couldn't take care of the animal. So we're not trying to take animals from people, but if someone is not in a position to care for the animal, we are willing to place that animal. Yeah. And it took the community to get this to happen, to get animal control to do something. I was on Facebook. I had people. Yeah. Somebody went to her house and knocked on her door. Sometimes Facebook can be a good thing. Yeah. Right.
Social media has been really great. It really has.
Yeah. Well, so working with animals for that long, do you have like a crazy story that's happened that while you were working with animals? It's just like,
I have a few. Yeah. I mean, they're all kind of dark though. So, I don't want to get too like Debbie Downer over here, but I've seen some things, and I mean, I already told you before we started the podcast about what I left at work before I came here. You see crazy things every day. I think probably the biggest thing that impacted me was, this was years ago when I was working at Sumter Humane Society, and we had a hoarding case, and there was, I think, 86 small dogs, and we had all our kennels full and the warehouse full of all these dogs and they were all in bad shape. And that I remember driving home with all of my windows down because I smelled so bad. It was just overwhelming and eye-opening. Like
86
that's
dogs.
how out of control like something can get. Someone thinks they're gonna like breed some small breed dogs, and then they're all just out in kennels and they can't keep up with who's who, and they can't afford the vet care, and they're still having puppies. And
were they all the same type?
They were
of
like
dog?
Shih Tzus, Yorkies, Chihuahuas. All different small breed animals. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. That was a lot of work for those couple months.
Wow. They, you mentioned even Facebook coming back and just kind of just being there and just being present and wanting to help. I mean, did you ever think that, or just the reality that one person in a small town can make such a difference?
I think one person has the power to bring people together to create change and make a difference. I think thinking you can do it alone is the wrong way to approach making a difference, because that's what I was kind of doing in the beginning with my animal rescue, and I was getting depressed, getting down about it, and it was just a lot. But once I started with getting in with the community, working with different rescues, getting back in and just establishing relationships with relative people, then we were able to start coming together, putting our minds together and getting everyone's different perspective. You've got the vet hospital perspective, you got the shelter perspective, you got the rescue perspective. And so if you get all those minds together, we could all really make a difference together. And I think that's something that has been lacking, is partnership. Because I feel like a lot of times organizations or people do want to just do it all. They want to be the ones that do it. They want to do it all on their own, but we're stronger together.
Yeah.
So if I can't take in this dog, I'm going to call your rescue. I'm going to call the humane. I'm going to reach out to people, and I'm going to try to find some way to help, even if it means I'm not the one who actually ends up helping.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's so important. And I think that, again, this idea of neighboring is, who cares who gets the credit as long as we win?
Exactly.
And that's really hard. And sometimes, I mean, when we start things, it's because we want to bring something unique that we feel like there's a gap in the organizations or in the city. But at the same time, we're there to help with the gap. So we need to know what those other organizations say, hey, we're here, we're available. I'm not competing against you.
How do we build this bridge?
Yeah. How can we make the connections where we can kind of be a funnel for each other? And I've noticed that even just being in this town, it's people want to help. And they don't want necessarily anything added to their plate. They just want to know if somebody's willing to do it. And they're just like, great. Then here's this person that you need to talk to. And so there's a lot of opportunity if you're willing, like you said, to work with people.
Make those connections and put in the time to develop relationships with people. Yeah.
So if somebody from these big cities called you today and said, tell me a little bit about Americus, how do you describe Americus now?
It really is a shining city on a hill. I mean, honestly, it's bigger than itself. Amazing people with big hopes, big dreams, and coming together. It's even just, I've told you, I think on one of the questions I answered before, was even just the art, the artists and like the appreciation for local artists has grown phenomenally since I was in college. And local businesses, there's more and more local businesses, people supporting local business. That's great to see. And I mean, even with the Humane Society, when I first started in 2006, working at the vet's office, they were in a small building over on Millard Boulevard, barely any cages. The doctors were going twice a week to euthanize animals. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And the facility that they've been able to build now, even though, I mean, it was built about 15 years ago now, I think, but that just blew me away. Like, we're growing, we're doing something, but like I said, we've got to reach out to each other. We've got to connect, so that we can make the real change, get those numbers down.
Yeah,
it's all about connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Americus is really developing that well in all different aspects of it.
Yeah, that's good. So, what would you say in next 10 years from now? What do you hope for Americus?
For Americus, I'd hope for more unity, less divisiveness, and for everyone to realize that we all love where we're from. We all want to see the city succeed, and we want to be a beacon for the ones around us, the small towns around us. People come to Americus from other towns to have fun and to do stuff, and is that wild? This is a small town, but we make a big impression.
That is true. That is very, very true. There seems to be a lot of momentum right now, and we could take advantage of that. And there's a lot of change right now, whether we like it or not. I mean, there's a lot of with city officials. I mean, there's just a lot of people with the elections and things. So there's opportunity, and so we're investing in today for tomorrow.
Exactly.
Well, if there are a lot of people who feel like they're stuck in Americus instead of choosing Americus, what would you say to someone who feels that way?
Get unstuck. If you feel stuck, go somewhere else. Get some perspective. Come back. Realize how special it really is.
That's good. That's solid. I mean, I love it. I love it. I think about the opportunity, like you said, if people were to see something different and then come back and invest, there's so much opportunity for Americus. I see it all the time. All right. If someone's listening, cares about animals in our community and wants to help, where should they start?
Well, I say the best thing you can do, the easiest thing you can do, volunteer. Like you said, your wife takes your kids to the shelter to go play with the animals. Go play with the animals. Go to the shelter and play with the animals. Project Outreach needs volunteers. They need fosters for animals that we're taking in. Follow your local pages. See what's going on. See how you can be a part of your community and help in that way. And just be aware. Be aware of what's happening in your city, in your town, and do the best you can to help as much as you can. And, of course, monetary donations are always welcome. Project Outreach, Sumter Humane Society,
now Project Outreach is your thing?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that. You have a website, you have Facebook?
Right now we're building a website. Okay. We have a Facebook page, and you can apply to be a foster, or you can apply to adopt there. And they have links to our Cash App. You can donate that way or through our website when it's up. But or you can donate directly to the vet bill. We always we'll post cases and how much we need to get this case seen about. And we've had people come and just pay the vet bill,
That's
things like
awesome.
that. But we really need fosters right now. Is what we really need. Because
and what would that require if someone were to foster?
That would require, it's most likely a dog. We work mostly with dogs. We've only taken in 4 cats because we're mostly a dog rescue right now. But it would entail you taking in an animal and it living with you through its vetting, through its spay and neuter and recovery until it can, one, get on a flight to a rescue out of state or be adopted locally. And we are trying to do more local adoptions because a lot of people complain that, they go to the shelter, they want a smaller dog or, but all there is hyperactive pit bull mixes. But that's because all the ones that everybody wants go to rescue so much easier because they can go like that. So they get sent out quicker. So we're trying to be more about adopting locally with the ones we take in. We haven't done very many local adoptions. We have mostly done rescues, but the ones we have adopted out here have been great. And I think people are starting to realize that they have that option with us that we can adopt. Whereas if you go to another local rescue or the Humane Society, you might not have those options.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. Well, one of the things I love to ask when it comes to just, getting to meet new neighbors, this is our first time really interacting with one another. And I've learned so much just about Americus, about you. Is there anything that you feel like as people have got to know you a little bit that they just misunderstand about you, that you're just like that you would love to be able to, for people to better understand who you are?
I've realized through trial and error, but I've realized that sometimes when I'm really passionate about something and I'm coming on, I'm telling you all about what you should do about your animal and everything, that can be misconstrued as me telling you what to do with your animal. So I've had to, reevaluate my approaches, how I talk to people. And so I feel like sometimes maybe I'm misunderstood when I'm trying to help. It seems like I'm trying to tell someone what to do. So I work on that with my communication skills, but it really just depends on the person and the situation. So I'd say, don't take my overzealousness too personally, because I just get really into it, really passionate. And I want to teach people. I'm actually trying to educate you. I'm not trying to tell you you don't know anything. I'm excited to share my knowledge. So I can see how that has been misconstrued in the past as me being like a know-it-all or something. But it's really just me being excited that I get to teach you something. Are you so there are certain people when it comes to pets that they see them as pets, or they see them as like their kids. Like, do you have a perspective about that? And like, which one, where do you lean? Or I'm just interested because I feel like people have gotten really serious about their pets in a very good way, but also the pet industry is growing for sure. And that includes, stores, shops, every product's out the wazoo.
That's right.
But
I'm like, that dog's eating way better than I am right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I could control my diet so strictly, but I know, I love people that consider their animals family. I consider my animals family. They drive me crazy, but they're my family, and I see them that way. I can't imagine getting rid of them or them going somewhere or anything like that. But I do see a lot of people who, they have working dogs, and it's a different story, or they have their outside dogs that like guard the farm and things like that. I've had to soften on that and not be so rigid with my black and white perspective. It's not black and white. It's situational. It's case by case. Like a Great Pyrenees, they're wandering dogs. They want to be outside. They want to guard the livestock. And we see those get out a lot and wander, and people lose them or whatever. But if you're like, oh, they keep their dog outside, I'm like, the dog wants to be outside. So there are certain breeds that's just what they want. And, not every dog's going to be some fat couch potato. So there are working breeds. There are dogs that need that exercise and love what they do. So, they're family too, but maybe not sleeping in the bed with you family. So, all sides of it, I understand, and I'm sensitive to.
Yeah. We love our little Welsh Corgi, and his name is Kevin, and he is about a year old, I think now, and he has been such a fun little guy. And he is ready to go. So I think that he's a herding dog, and I can't remember which livestock or that they would watch over, but they're small enough where they can't get kicked. So they would just kind of do some things, and he loves running around. And so if we try to split from each other, he'll like try to follow us to try to get us back in. It's really fun. So
that's cute.
So, I think animals, they're therapeutic. They're fun.
Yeah.
They can get expensive. So make sure you understand what you're getting into. Take care of them. It's
a big responsibility, and understand that you're committing to, depending on the breed, between 9 and 15 or maybe even more years of your life.
Yeah.
I had who I call my soul dog. His name was Jack. I actually was looking to buy a pug when I was a freshman in college working at the vet's office. And this little dog came in, and he had parvo, and the owners couldn't afford a treat. So we got them to sign over their rights to the dog to us so they wouldn't put him to sleep. And everybody was, Cassie, why don't you just take this puppy? Why don't you just take this? But I was like, this isn't the dog that I was going to get. And then when I walked in one morning, he had gotten out of his cage and he was running around and his line was pulled out. There's IV fluids everywhere, and I was just like, God, this is so sad. I'm taking you home today. And we were together for 16 years. And he was the best friend. I mean, the best friend I ever had. And hindsight, I used to think, man, I'm a really good dog owner. I'm a good dog trainer. But then I have these 3 dogs I have now. They don't listen to me for anything. So I realized, no, I just had a really good dog, So
that's right.
Now it's
love
madhouse.
you. And yeah, absolutely. And yep. Yeah. Well, let me, we're kind of getting, to what we call rapid fire questions. And so I have like kind of 2 animal questions. They're kind of positive and negative, I guess you could say to that. But, is there a particular dog breed that you really, really love, that you had?
I really love rat terriers.
Okay.
I grew up with rat terriers. Jack was a rat terrier. So I'm very partial to rat terriers.
Okay. Do you have a
Even
rat
though
terrier
I
now?
don't shop for rat terriers or, I have 2 neurotic mutts and 1 American Bulldog mix.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So here's my negative question. Is there any particular breed? Because I know people breed different.
Oh, they're mixing and matching all the time.
Is there anyone that you're like, that should have never happened?
We were talking about this at work today, and I don't know that it was necessarily intentional, but I've come across it more than once as a pit bull chihuahua mix.
Wow.
And you're like,
yeah.
what's that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a crazy breed. My daughter said something about pugs the other day that they have trouble breathing, or at least that's what she read.
They're
she's
brachiocephalic, which just basically means they have a pushed in nose and they do have a harder time breathing because they have a soft palate in the back of their mouth, kind of like where our uvula would be. And since it's smushed up, it kind of blocks that airway. And that's how that's right. Make that noise.
And she kind of was like, Dad, I don't think they understand that they shouldn't do those because those dogs have such a hard time breathing. I was like, oh, baby,
if you look at old pictures of what the pug looked like when it was originally bred, I mean, it's been hundreds of years ago. Their nose wasn't that smushed in.
Oh, wow.
All the breeding, the genetics and all, they've bred them smaller. They've, the minis, the toys, and that's because you're taking the run of a litter and you're trying to breed smaller. But that's what's funny with things like Labradoodles. Those are fairly new, right?
Yeah.
So you could get a Labradoodle and it'd end up being like 2 feet off the ground. I saw one today, and then I saw another one. He's huge. His head is this big. He looks like a horse. But because they haven't been doing it long enough. You really don't know exactly what you're going to get yet. It's so
nice.
That's always funny to me. Like, oh, you got a Labradoodle?
All right. So, what about? Are you a morning person, a night person?
Well, I was a morning person for a long time, and then living and working in New Orleans, bartending in the Quarter every night. I was definitely a night person for several years. I think I perform best in the morning at this point in my life, but I do enjoy going to bed.
Okay.
I enjoy sleep a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, absolutely. Coffee, tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Anything in your coffee?
No.
Black. No. Nice. What about favorite food?
Favorite food? Well, I've always had a go-to answer for that was broccoli because it was the only thing I would eat when I was a kid, which is weird. Yeah. But I love broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Any place you would like to go around the world? I mean,
Scotland.
Scotland?
Yeah.
Okay. Scotland.
The cliffs of Scotland. I would love to see that.
All right. If there was any book or podcast or movie that you've seen that you think everybody should see? I know you're an artist,
Well,
what are we all missing out on?
I would say a book that has been a favorite of mine, and it's one of those that you have, and if you read it at the right time of your life, it hits you the way it's supposed to, and you hold on to it. And when you see someone else feeling the way you felt, you hand it off to them. And it's always been my book to kind of do that. It's The Alchemist by Pablo Coelho.
Okay.
So that it was somebody was listening to me vent one day and was like, I have a book for you to read. And they gave me this book, and it just, opened my eyes. And so I held on to it. And then the next person I hear, they're at this point in their life.
Yeah.
I gave them that book. And
that's awesome.
So that's my go-to book to give people when they're struggling with finding themselves or what they're doing or where they're supposed to be, things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Cassie, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I mean, like I said, the things that you're doing, and again, just the story of you coming back to Americus and you investing into Americus is really hopeful for me, because you're from here. You know the challenges, you've seen them, you've been gone, you're back here, and you're just like, let's go. Let's make this happen. And so the more and more we find commonality in that, like you said, if we're all valuing, we want to see Americus continue to be the shining city on a hill. Let's do that together. So thank you so much for joining us. And we're really looking forward to taking our animals seriously, and obviously getting that overpopulation, all that kind of stuff. Like let's get that nailed down so that we can continue to take care of our animals here. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
It's been great.
Awesome.
All right.